Hi guys, Happy New Year. I hope you had a great Christmas. Here is part 2 to my chat with Fetin, all about working in high-end TV. In this episode, we cover about what's stressful on set and also really good ways of getting into the industry, good programs and good trainee schemes that have been helpful to both of us. So yeah, stick around if you want to learn more about that. Obviously, we've spoken a lot about how it can be really stressful, but really fun. So what are your top 3 pieces of advice for working in TV? And that can be unscripted, it could be scripted. But for someone that's starting out as a runner, what's like the advice that you wish you knew that you can pass on?
I feel like this probably is a bit obvious, but then again, like even people working in TV for a while forget this, I think. But whatever channel you're on, which if you're a runner, especially in scripted, it's probably going to be like, I'm talking about the radios, by the way, that we always have in our ears. Usually if you're on the AD team, it's going to be on channel 1, and that's usually the busiest channel. There's a lot going on in that channel. And you can't take it out.
Nope.
You never take it out. I don't even take it out during lunch.
It's literally, if you take that thing out, like the moment that split second you take that thing out, World War III will erupt, and you just won't know anything's going on. But it's
oh yeah,
like, I love having that in there because I'm working on TV, but there's nothing better than getting to the end of the day and just throwing that radio away and being like, there's no one talking in my ear.
Oh my God. It is like the best feeling at the end of the day where I can just take that out. Like, I cannot wait, because it's usually about, I'm going to say at least 11 hours a day. I have that in my ear, and it's almost constant chattering. And this is what I was going to mention earlier, is that my advice would be is listen to every single thing being said on the radio, which is so hard considering so much is going on. But when you're a runner on set, you need to be aware of anything that's going on in your department. You need to know like which scenes we're filming next. You need to, because then you're gonna need to know which cast to expect. You're gonna need to know which cast is rapping. You need to know. There's so many things that even if it's not told to you directly, it's gonna probably apply to you in your job. And it's good practice anyway. It's good for you to know, because you get to listen to the first, second and third AD, and you get to see how they're talking amongst each other and what their jobs are as well, and you get better understanding. But it's happened to me before where, it's happened to me where the third AD was like, "Oh, I didn't catch that. What did they say?" And I hadn't been listening.
Yeah.
And I got in trouble for that, because I was like, let's getting used to it though. You kind of have to train yourself to constantly listen to everything. And I'm sure you know this as well, but how difficult is it talking to someone and then having to listen as well to what's going on?
Don't get me started. That happened to me the other day. I think it was the third AD talking in my ear, but I had the first AD like talking, and even though they knew the third was talking, I feel like the first kind of sometimes switches off because there's so much going on anyway that they like it was just a mess, and I was like, I don't know who to listen to right now. It was awful.
You ever get like you're talking to someone and then something happens on the radio where you need to take action like immediately, run. I will literally be in the middle of a conversation with someone, and I'll literally just be like, and I'll like just run away, like without even saying anything.
One thing that I want to point out as well is when you're on set, and it took me a while to get used to this on my first job. Don't think that the AD team are horrible people, because they're not. They've just got so much to do that if they run off or look annoyed, they've got to just do it. And that took me a while to understand that they're not annoyed, they're just hectic. They've got to go.
Well, I didn't really fully understand that until I became a set PA. And like I've had people probably thinking I'm quite rude as well, because I'm not a snappy person at all. I'm quite a smiley person, and like I like joke around and things, but sometimes when I'm working and it's long hours, I'm running around, and even like I found myself getting a little bit snappy with people when like like, and it will be over like the stupidest thing. It'll be like the freaking where are the water bottles? You know, I need a water and they'll be like, oh, we don't have any water bottles. But I'm like, but what? But like the director needs one. Like, what do you want me to do about that? Like, so I think sometimes people can think ADs can be a little bit snappy, but it is because we are literally trying to keep the show running, and that is stressful. It's stressful.
We kind of touched upon it at the start. Getting into TV is difficult. Like, it looks hard. It depends on everyone's situation, I think, really. But from someone that's looking in, that's never been in TV before, where would you say is like the best place to find jobs, training opportunities, or people that can support you?
Do you know what? I'll start off with how I got into scripted. But just like bearing in mind to everyone watching, it can be different for everyone. Yep. Because there's no one set way to get into TV, and especially scripted. There's so many different ways to get into it. So with me, the first ever job I had in scripted was actually as a daily. And if you don't know what a daily is, it's just usually you don't have a set contract. They just call you in whenever they need you. So for a lot of people, you're probably going to start off as a daily, especially in scripted TV. And I'd worked with a production secretary for one day when I was an intern at a production company. So it wasn't like I was just placed with them for the day because I was the office runner and they needed someone. I got on really well with her, and about 6 months later, it was so random. I got a call at like 10 p.m. and, you know, she was like, oh, the runner we had like for the base has pulled out like very last minute. Is there any chance you can come in the morning? She was like, it's just for one day. And I was so excited. It's like, you know, I'd gotten a call to work on a scripted show, even if it was for a day. And so late at night as well. And like, you know, I went and did it. And then they asked me to come back the next day, which was really nice. They didn't need me after that. But it was just nice to have that on my CV. And it was like a big show as well. It was Des. But this was the first time like I was working on scripted TV, and I just did the massive double take when I saw the call sheet. But you know, it was fine. Like I did it for 2 days, and then that was at the end of November, and that was just when obviously we're getting into winter. And I mentioned this before, a lot of productions just stop over winter time, so I didn't have any jobs after that. I worked in theatre, and in March when things start to get like, they tend to start picking up in scripted TV especially. Obviously we got hit by coronavirus, so there was that. So yeah, I didn't all production stopped. But I managed to become a trainee with Call Time. I know you're with if you don't know, like Call Time, they're great. It's run by 2 assistant directors, and it's like almost like a diary system, I guess, but they also accept a lot of trainees every year, and it's a really, really great way to get your foot in scripted TV. Because essentially what it is these 2 assistant directors who are really high up in high-end TV, they've interviewed you, and it's like almost having them as a reference. They've okayed you, and they've gone, actually, you know, I'm happy for that person to represent Call Time. And I'm happy to recommend them to really big productions. So it's a really big thing to be able to get onto Call Time, I think. And the way it works is a lot of people will contact them and say, oh, we're looking for someone with a car who's near like London, and they will send it out. And if you fit the description, you reply back, and then maybe you get a job through that. With me this year, they also did like a mentor scheme as well with their trainees, and I got placed with my mentor, who's a second AD, and she recommended me for like a lock-off PA job that I mentioned, that I told you I was doing a few months ago. And from that, she also sort of managed to get me an interview with the third AD for this show that she's also doing. And So here I am. I kind of feel sad that I can't be like, oh, there's like, you just apply because obviously it was mainly through knowing someone. But I would say that check out Call Time if you can, if you want to get into scripted TV, because it is a great way, really good scheme. If you do manage to get in.
I'm actually glad that you've kind of not been able to answer how, like, the best way to get into TV, because that's kind of what I want from that question. Is I just want to be like, it's different, it's hard, there's not one way for everyone. And if you've watched the previous video as well, you'll know that Jack got into it again in a completely different way through just by chance at networking at events. It's different for everyone. I'll put a link down below to Call Time. They definitely are really good. I've had a fair few emails since joining.
And just to say, they are going to be recruiting more trainees, I believe, in January. I think I do want to say, because obviously we've spoken a lot about how stressful it is.
Yeah. And
I think that's one thing that I didn't realise, and a lot of people don't realise before they get into TV. Do expect very long hours, a lot of pressure, and you know, it is the most stressful industry I've ever worked in. You won't have a lot of sleep, and you'll mainly be running on coffee, but you know, it just depends on whether, you know, that's enough for you. Because for me, like, I'm happy doing all of that. I'm happy with, because my favorite thing is watching the show once it's out, and like seeing my name on the credits, and like being able to be like, I worked on this show, what the hell. It's like, it's so exciting, because you don't really, obviously you don't get to see as much of it while it's being made, but once it's on TV, you're like, I was a part of this, and that's like the best feeling ever for me. But I do want people to know just how stressful it can be, because if you're not prepared for it, it can really drain you. And I've known so many people who have just left the industry after starting it because it was so much to handle. So you do really, really need to be aware of that and be okay with how intense it is.
Mentioning that, I'm just going to put a link down below to some useful things that I found, like the TV Mindset and other resources like that below. So if you are a runner or anything,
I love TV Mindset, by the way.
Yeah, really good help. But other than that, thank you for being part of this. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like I ramble a lot, but I'm hoping that I actually made some sense.
You've got me probably 2 videos out of this, and I'm so grateful.
I love talking about things like this, though. I make TikToks. I used to actually make YouTube videos as well, but I've not done that in a long time. But I make TikToks about mainly working in TV. I like to make funny ones as well, and like relatable ones. But I also make a lot of advice videos about working into TV and how to get into TV. And if you've got any questions, I always try to either reply on a comment, or I try to make a video with your comment on any questions really that you've got about TV. Go follow me. I don't even remember my username. How bad is that? What is my username?
I'll put a picture up right here of your profile. Well, thank you for being involved. It's been really good eye-opener, even for me as well.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Sorry.
Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed these last 2 videos. I've really enjoyed making them, and I hope they've been of use to you. Over the next coming weeks, I've got a few more runner videos I want to make, as well as a brand new movie series that will be coming out at the end of every single month. But yeah, other than that, make sure you check out all my social media. There's my housemate trying to keep quiet.
Sorry, I'm in the dishwasher.
And see you soon. Bye.